Today's episode is brought to you by Modern Grower. Modern Grower is your source for time and labor-saving farm tools, such as the Paper Pot Transplanter, Quick Click Seeder, and the Jang Direct Seeder. Turn laborsome tasks into free time with tools by Modern Grower. I know there's no absolute answer to this, and I don't think anybody knows, but is a healthier plant just lacking photosynthesis? It's not photosynthesizing at its full potential. The nutrients, the minerals might be there in the soil. It just can't get access to them. Like, what's causing the plant to be healthier? And this goes back to that yield thing of 200 bushel corn versus 1,100 bushel corn. What could tip that limit? How do you get better photosynthesis? How do you get healthier plants?
You got to have the microbes. And so it's all about that soil environment. When we start to till the soil, we get imbalance of microbes. We're mainly bacteria and not enough fungus. We want to have that balance. So the soil compaction is going to have an impact. You're going to have more bacteria. So now you're going to have that imbalance. You're not going to have the right nutrients. And if you don't have the right nutrients, you might have the nutrients there, but it may be in the wrong form. And if it's not plant available, then we're going to limit photosynthesis. So it's all these things combined. You got to have the right soil environment. You got to have the right microbes. And then a lot of times the nutrients are there, but they're in the wrong form. You got to have the right microbes to transform them into the right form so that they're plant available. And then that whole system then will add more carbon into your soil. Over time, you'll build up that carbon in your soil. Now you're at full production. But think about this. If we overuse fungicides, we start overusing the chemicals. Glyphosate is one of those examples. So we know that glyphosate is a chelator. Okay, so it ties up a lot of micronutrients, okay, especially manganese and a couple other things. But one of the things that we're seeing on almost all of our soybeans and a lot of our corn is it's manganese deficient. Well, that's going to limit photosynthesis, okay? And so the theory used to be that a lot of people would talk about the staves in a barrel. And they say whatever element is limiting, that's the one that's going to, limit your photosynthesis, limit your yield. But what has happened over time is because we put on so many nutrients, sometimes we have an excess nutrient. So the barrel stave idea is the law of the minimum. Now we're starting to concentrate a little bit more on the law of the maximum. And what does the law of the maximum say? Every nutrient has an effect on other nutrients. So if you get too much of one nutrient, it can tie up some of the other nutrients, okay? So maybe by actually cutting back, we tend to overapply nitrogen and phosphorus and even potash a lot or potassium. If we're overapplying them, we could be tying up some micronutrients. So maybe if we put on a little bit less of some of these, and maybe we add a little bit of the other ones, but we also improve the biology, all of a sudden we get things back into balance, and all of a sudden our barrel, all of a sudden the staves are a little more even, and we can hold more water in that barrel, which means we're basically generating more yield. And maybe not only more yield, but maybe more nutrient dense and healthier food at the same time. So it all works together. We got to understand it. That's why it's been a little bit complicated. We haven't understood how the pieces all move together and how they all fit together. We're starting to get a little clearer understanding on what we need to do to make this system work better. So again, glyphosate, what it does is it creates conditions that chelate manganese. Manganese is used by the plant to split the water molecule in half. And if you don't have enough manganese, you're going to have incomplete photosynthesis. Glyphosate also causes more fusarium in the soil. So now we're getting this disease organism there. One good way to overcome glyphosate is actually oats. Oats does the exact opposite. It promotes manganese, makes manganese more plant available, and it reduces some of the fusarium in the soil. So we can use cover crops. I would suggest that people, we've really overused Roundup. Try to use like crimper rollers, and maybe try to limit how much you use. If you're going to use Roundup, try to, instead of using it 3-4 times a year or 5 times like they do in cotton, maybe try to use it only once. Or if you can get away with not using it at all, use a crimper roller, use Gramaxone. We actually find with Gramaxone, we don't see a dip in soil health. Every time that we use Roundup, we'll actually see the soil health go down in the soil for a couple weeks until that soil recovers. But we really want to keep our microbes happy all the time. And I think glyphosate is starting to reach its economic life. There's a lot of lawsuits out there, and we've overused it. And I think over time, we're probably going to have less reliance on glyphosate just because of the economic forces now and the resistance to the overuse of glyphosate. So we need to start thinking ahead of what are we going to use to replace that glyphosate, and see if there isn't something else. I'm not saying we have to totally get rid of it. I'm just saying maybe we've overused it. Maybe we can cut back a little bit, and we'll find out that maybe it actually improves our soil health a little bit more.
Hello, growers. Protect your crops from harmful insects with Modern Growers Insectanet. This top-tier insect netting made by Modern Grower shields your plants from pests and harsh weather, boosting your yields without harmful sprays. Insectanet's unique design allows 90% of the light to pass through and is easy to use with low tunnel systems like our Quick Hoops. It's soft, elastic, and durable, perfect for field use to help ensure that your crops thrive. Say goodbye to pest damage and hello to healthier, market-ready produce. Invest in Insectanet and see the difference it makes. Get Insectanet at shop.moderngrower.co or using the link below.